Thank you so much. I am here with the most amazing person that I've got to know, and I'm so excited to share with all of you, Aray. And the reason I have you here, Aray, is honestly, the reason I have you here for my season 2 is not just to ask you and talk to you about the relationship. Why do men love relationships? But I want to know you because you personally inspire me just who you are. And I want the audience to know that the reason I chose you for this topic is because I see confidence in you. I see this amazing person that inspires the world and that you work towards your goals. There's no fear. There's this amazing person behind the scene before I contact you about, hey, what do you want in a relationship? So before we answer any of those amazing, fun questions, I want to talk about you. I want to see you. You are my biggest inspiration. You have a podcast episode. You've written books. You have accomplished so much that I want you to tell the audience what brought you about your podcast show, about everything about you, and how did you get motivated and how did you start all of this stuff?
Wow. So first I want to say, wow, I am super humbled to be here. This is actually, I tell people this all the time. This is no cap. I've told you this so many times. Your podcast show is actually one of my favorite podcast shows. Especially because like it helps me like in my personal relationship and marriage to my lovely wife Amanda. So I want to tell you like right now, because um they have dubbed me the podcast king. So I'm going to say, I'm going to tell everyone right now, I'm giving you the title of the podcast queen because you're killing it, you're rocking it. The hottest, one of the hottest shows, man. I mean, oh man, the stuff you talk about is amazing. Even like when I get behind on podcast shows, like I just kind of just go to the next episode. But with you, if I get behind on your show, I'm like, yo, I got to see what she just talked about a couple weeks ago before I move forward. So keep killing. I just want to say keep killing it. But ultimately, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on the show. It is truly an honor and a privilege. I'm humbled to be here. I'm feeling like, that team that gets to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is my Super Bowl moment, so I'm feeling good. So how I got here, man, that very, very good question. Like, well, so, back in 2009, my sister was murdered and she was, real quick story. She was shot 5 times by her husband, who then after took her life. He laid next to her and shot himself in the head. And this is just through that whole ordeal. Of course, you go through feelings of grief, and you go through this. Oh God, why did you allow this to happen? And you're angry and you're throwing your hands up at God, and then you come to this place where you realize, what, this is just a broken world with broken people. So from 2009, after I lost my sister, and even the crazy thing is, me and my brother-in-law were pretty close. He taught me a lot of stuff about how to be a man and things like that. And so I lost more than just my sister, who I was also close to. I lost one of both of my best friends at the time. And so from there, I made up in my mind that, what, people need hope.
Yes.
And we may be, through our podcast shows, through our books, we may be the only hope some people ever encounter. And so ever since then, I have just really had my mind has just been made up and focused on that. No matter what avenue, no matter what road it is, I want to give people inspiration. I want to give people hope, whether that's, biblically speaking, or if that's just like, hey, keep your head up, or if I'm just giving them some Usher lyrics, hey, you got it bad, whatever, keep doing your thing. But people need hope. And so from there, a few years later, I came across doing radio stuff. And the cool thing about radio is that, you can put an episode out and let the episode rock for weeks, you know what I'm saying, before you even think about doing something different. but I wanted to do more. And so then I heard about this thing called podcasting. I had
Yeah.
no idea what it was. And so I looked into it, I started doing it. And in the beginning, this is probably right around 2014,
Wow.
2013, around that time. And I did more explaining what a podcast was than actually getting people listening to my podcast. So my start to podcasting was really, really slow. But over time, I kept going, because it just goes back to the message of hope. I knew that if it was just one person listening, and I'm telling you, when I first started, I had 2 to 3 downloads weekly. That's all I mean, 2 to 3 downloads monthly. That's it. And it was discouraging, but I knew, like, yo, if it's just these 2 or 3 people that I ever reach, then I've done my job.
Amazing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so from there, anybody who's just starting off podcasting, hear me out. If you want to be great, stay consistent. So
Yeah.
there's stay consistent, work hard. Like, if you have this dream of having whatever your dream is, dreams don't work unless you work. And if you can dream it, you can work it. And there's this Greek word for Nike, and it's victory. And so, Nike has their slogan, just do it. And so I'm telling everyone right now, like, if you want to be a podcaster, if you want to write a book, whatever it is you want to do in life, just do it. Just Nike, because you have the victory living inside of you, that once you tap into your greatness, once you tap into your potential, once you tap into who you are and who you're meant to be in this world, nothing and no one will stop you, because you have that victory. You're more than a conqueror, and you're unstoppable. And so once I had that mind frame, and once I tapped into that and stayed consistent and started really working and pushing, um, really, let's fast forward a little bit to, the books now. Coronavirus hits, it's 2020,
Yeah.
and a lot of people around me losing their jobs, losing their minds. Especially if you're an outgoing person and you love to go out and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then now you're told you can't do anything. And then, like, if you're sick already and you're battling other stuff, then you're just afraid. You're just living in this hopeless state. And so I wrote my first book in 2020, and it's called The Hope Project. And the goal was that, just like the goal has been for, everything I do in my life, is to give people hope, and to let them know, no matter what situation you're facing, no matter what life throws at you, there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe. For me, that's God, that's Jesus. Whatever you believe in, though, like, tap into that. Tap into your faith, and tap into that hope, and the hope that a lot of people. I love the Hebrew word for hope. And that word is not, when we say hope, it's like, I hope this works out. And there's this doubt, like, I'm not sure. But when you look at the Hebrew word for hope, it's this surety that I know that this is going to work out without a shadow of a doubt. And so that was the premise of the Hope Project. And from there, after I dropped the Hope Project, after I dropped that book, I saw my podcast show, like, I started getting ranked on these different places and these different websites. And so now I have 2 ranked top 5 podcast shows, which is Real Talk with Aray, and my interview show that is not near as good as yours, not
Oh,
near as good.
you're too nice.
And that's called One on One with Aray. And so, like, from the books, from the podcast shows, from going back to 2009, when I lost my sister and my brother-in-law, it's always just been about giving people hope and giving them that thing they need to just keep going no matter what they're facing. And so then Confessions comes around after I write the Hope Project. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I've only shared this with one other person, and that was just actually yesterday. Her name's Jaden. Shout out to her. And I actually went through a nervous breakdown. Like, I checked into a facility and all that, because I lost my mind writing Confessions, because the pressure of just trying to outdo the Hope Project, because I felt like it did so well. Not that it sold millions of copies or anything, but
Yeah.
like people bought it. So I was like, whoa, people are actually buying the book. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
So So with confessions, I had a lot of stress and a lot of pressure and a lot of anxiety, and just even went through a bout of depression there. And but when I went through all that, and just coming out on top of that, I put the book out finally, and then it hits number one new release, and on Amazon, which I don't know. Some people say it's not a big deal. To me, it's a huge deal because I'm like, yo, back in fifth grade, I couldn't even spell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's such a big
um,
deal.
right, yeah. So and confessions really just had to do with I am a licensed and ordained pastor, and it just really had to deal with that, like, yo, I'm a human just like everyone else. I have struggles, I have things I deal with. Um, I mean, honestly, I mean, right now I'm vaping. Somebody may look at them like, "Oh, you're going to hell" or something. So like I have things I struggle with and I deal with, and I have bad habits and all that. And so that's what confessions was about. It was about confessing those things, but also realizing that those bad habits, those problems, those troubles, or whatever, those also make you who you are today.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't change up or switch up for anything. I would go through all of everything I've been through all over again. Especially if I knew it was going to lead me right here to this very moment. So yeah, that's how we got here. That's how we started doing what we doing, and I'm loving it. Like, da 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 da. I'm loving it. That's McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
I love it because one is you're right. It's what happens to us and all the things that we go through that makes us who we are today. And I think that is one of the biggest lessons we learn in life is what we go through is what happens in the future, how we decide to live our future. And
right.
first of all, I want to say I'm really sorry about your sister. I truly am. That I never knew about that before. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, yeah.
And everything that you've gone through, like everything you went through, even the confessions that you were going through and that you were breaking down, it shows the kind of person you are. And today, you are that confident, the most amazing, fearful man that I know, that I can see that in you, and you can conquer the world just because of everything that you've gone through. And
Wow.
this is
Thank you.
why
Yeah.
this is why I brought you here, because I want you to be the highlight of women to know that this is who we're talking about today. So this Aray is now going to tell us all about what he wants in a relationship. And this is where the
Yes.
topic starts.
What do I want in a relationship? So, man, such a good thought-provoking question. And I think, and I can't speak for everyone, of course,
Of course.
but what I want in a relationship is someone that we can be friends.
Yes.
I want that. Amanda, my wife, my best friend. She's my best friend. And before and I was just telling you before the show started, like, yo, this is my second marriage, and you was like, hey, don't even worry about that. So thank you for saying that, because I do worry about that from time to time. But um, before I met Amanda and I was married to another lady, we weren't there. There was no friendship there. It was more like I'm climbing up in ministry, and everybody's saying I need a wife, this, that, and the other. So it was more like a business type deal. And we were so young and so dumb, and we didn't do it for all the right reasons. But being with someone that can be your best friend is a game changer. You can laugh and you can joke, and you can come to each other and be each other's support system. And when that person goes through something, you go through that with them as
Yeah.
well. You know what I mean? And then what I love about it is that so many times people say, a relationship should be 100. And I do not believe that, because there's a lot of times I'm working with 30% and she has to work with everything else, and vice versa. Sometimes she's working with 50 and I got the other 50, and we put that together and we make 100. So and I think that's so important to have in any relationship, because um if not, one person can feel like they're carrying all the load, all the troubles and problems of life, and then relationship problems and kids problems and work problems and all that, and then you kind of explode and you break down. But when you have someone that you can share your burdens with, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. And then not only the bad times, but also the good times. Because the thing I love about Amanda is that when I win, she wins.
Yeah.
When she wins, I win. She just actually finished taking a big test for the nursing program to go on to the next level, and she needed to pass this. And I felt like I feel like I'm about to be a nurse. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's just how close we are. That's our bond, and I love that. And so that's one thing, like someone that you can be more than just more than just lovers, but lovers and friends. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think another thing is being with someone that understands you, understands that, oh, there's depression, there's, for me, I'm ADHD. And that is, if you look into to people who have ADHD, they have a hard time with relationships already. So being with someone who understands that and works with you through your flaws or your chemical brain imbalances and all that, and understands like, yo, I'm gonna love you anyway. I'm gonna love you even when you're being unlovable. I think that's just, to me, that's just so sexy. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. You know what I mean? It's
I
so
love
attractive.
it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm over here acting the fool, and you still love me? Like, that's crazy. And I think that's so important to have grace in relationships.
Yeah.
Um, because you never know what, I mean, if you're, especially if you don't communicate, you got to communicate in relationships, you got to, but you never know what someone doesn't feel comfortable with communicating with. But just knowing that, look, I don't know why you did what you did, but one day we got to talk about it one day. But today I'm just going to hold you down. Today I'm just going to rock with you. And I think that's, for me, that's what I want in a relationship. That's what I have right now. And it's so beautiful. I love it.
I love it. I'm going to go back a little bit about what you said
Yes.
before. And you had talked to me a little bit about, oh, this is my second marriage.
Mhm.
You're right. You're absolutely right. There's one thing I've learned in my life, and I want to share this only because I want everyone else to know that, when you talk about who you are and the person that you are, I believe individually, we all make mistakes in our life.
Mhm.
And whatever mistake we make, it has to do with our mistake. What other people think or say has nothing to do with what happens to us. So when you
Facts.
have that second marriage, I'm like, that's fine. That's great. Amazing.
Right.
You know what? Because you
Yeah.
probably learned something on your first one, and now you're enjoying something on your second one. And you know what? The best part about it is that we all live a beautiful life no matter what happens, right?
Mhm.
The other
Right,
thing I
right.
also wanted to highlight is, you're right, we need to have a best friend with us. You're
Mhm.
right. Our relationship needs to be that best friend relationship.
Right.
If I have to bring my husband up on this one, he truly is the rock in our relationship. When I was going through my postpartum depression, he didn't just leave. He was there by my side all the way through till today.
Right.
And he's never said, I don't understand you. I don't know what's wrong with you. Even if he didn't understand me, he was still by my side.
Right. Right.
Right. And
Right. It's
all my
beautiful.
achievements and all his achievements, we've been celebrating together. So when you say that, that's what you want in a relationship, it makes me smile, because I feel like you're right. That partner needs to be your 50-50. I would say
Mhm.
50-50,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
50% of
Yeah.
the time I can bring it in, 50% of the time he can bring it in, and we make that 100% together.
Make that
What do you
100.
say?
Yeah. I love it. I love that. I love that. And I love it because, like, I think society gives this unrealistic expectation
Yeah.
for marriage and relationships, especially men. I think men have a hard time because, like, for example, like, if I'm not the guy that's going to change the tire on the car, that's not me. That's not me. But guess what? I'm the guy who's going to call the guy that can do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that guy. And so
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like, women, they look at these unrealistic expectations. Like, if he can't change the tire, if he can't do this, that, and the other, he's not really a man. That's just a little boy. Well, I'm like, yo, to me, a man is someone, if I can't do it, I'm either going to learn how to do it, or I'm going to find someone that can do it and teach me to do it, or I'm just going to find someone to do it and get the job done so that you can have peace of mind. You don't have to worry about if you're going to have a flat tire tomorrow, but I hate that so many women, and it's not everybody, but a lot of women, they just have this, this crazy thought that like if a man can't do manly things, if he doesn't watch football and stuff, he's not a man. I'm not a football guy. I'm a Lifetime movie network dude.
Yeah.
I'm a PS I love you notebook type of guy. That's the type of guy I am. And some women they don't like emotional men. And to me, I'm an emotional guy. I can be sensitive, but not sensitive to the point where I can't laugh and joke. But
Yeah.
I can be sensitive to my feelings, to how she's feeling or whatever. And a lot of times that's frowned upon. And I hate that, because I think some of the best people in the world are people who can tap into their emotions and share their emotions and share their sensitivity in a healthy way. And because I think once you do that, there's a level of growth that happens that does not and will not happen if you keep everything all bottled in. Like, yo, if I'm hurting, I'm gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Yeah.
no crybaby, but I'm not gonna sit there, because my pops was one of those guys that like, hey, men don't cry. But when I got older, like, I was like, yo, pops, I cry, so, and I'm a man, so I think that's just so important to have in the relationship and in the man. And I'm not saying like not every guy is gonna be like that.
No,
Uh
I used to have that mindset, right? I used to be like, okay, my husband can't put up a picture on the wall, but ended up happening
right,
that he did the 4 holes, but yet he still put that picture up and it still stays. Like, he did an
right,
amazing job. But he's
right, right.
also, I see it. Yeah. Like there's a lot of women, like I'm the kind of person where I would change that tire. If he showed me how
Right,
to do it, I would do it. Yet he's
right, right,
not. Right. So again, like
right.
you said, it's amazing how no matter what the situation is, we're going to work together. And I actually enjoy the emotional man, honestly speaking, because then we can
Right.
both be emotional together.
Right, right, yeah. Have a good time,
Yeah.
crying and all, tissues and all, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of men kind of really, they really miss out on great women because they refuse to open up. And they refuse to open up because the time they did open up, they unfortunately opened up to the wrong woman who disrespected them, played them, or whatever. And so then they have this cocoon or this wall or this bridge now that like now they'll never do it. They'll never open up again because they've been hurt. And if that's you, if that's any dude out there, listen, man, not all women are the same. Like just like how not all men are the same, not all women are the same. Open up, let that girl in, put the ring on her finger. You want to, so just do it, man. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah,
here's
yeah.
another question.
Let's do it.
What are your big turnoffs for a guy?
Oh, big turnout, drama. Right, listen, ain't nobody got time for the drama. Like keep it at your mama house. You know what I mean? Like
You
I
just
do.
said you want emotional. So we are
Right,
emotional. Okay.
right. I mean, okay, let me clarify that. I mean the messy type of drama where you start stuff just to, get a reaction from me. You know, don't do that. Don't do that. Like a bad like I don't know. I think it's because of my past marriage. I say that because like everything could be cool and then out of nowhere there's a problem. There's some type of dramatic thing going on. I'm like, yo, what? I just changed the channel. Why you mad? Like you wasn't even here watching TV with me. So but the drama, and I say because there's certain drama, like drama happens. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when you create drama, like when you create nothing out of something, like you're some type of God, then I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. But
Do you
I
think
can
that do you think drama happens because we're not so confident in ourselves? So we're trying to see if the man will give us a reaction to
mm,
we want a type of reaction from our man to feel more confident in ourselves.
yeah, I think that can be part of it. But I think I like that. And I kind of let's stay right there just for a second because I think yes, I want to say yes to
Mhm.
that. Because sometimes a woman can create the drama to see like, yo, if he reacts a certain way, then he loves me. But if he
Mhm.
doesn't react, then he don't care nothing about me. And so sometimes that happens to see like, yo, she want to test where he's at. But then there's this other drama that sometimes some people can be so used to messy and living messy and gossiping and lying and backbiting that
Yeah.
when it's a peaceful situation, they have to create something because peace is not normal to them. Drama and war is what's normal for them. So when, I've dated women straight up that I'll never forget this. I'm in college. Shout out to this chick. Am I allowed to, I can say what I want. I'm A-rated kid.
Yeah.
Her name's Chandra. So shout out to her, I guess. And I remember we're dating and she straight up, we broke up because she said, like, this is too real. This is too good to be true. I'm like, what? Like, I'm a good person. Like, yo, I got a thing for you. So I'm gonna treat you right. You know what I'm saying? But she was so used to drama and she was so used to mess and she was so used to the baby daddy, baby mama type situations. And with at that, I don't have no baby mama at this time. I don't have those type of situations going on. I can just open the car door for you, take you out to get something to eat, take you to get a movie, hold your hand, whatever. Like it's gonna be peaceful. But because so many people, so many women have been treated so bad by men, unfortunately, that when they do encounter a good man, it's like a fairy tale. They think it's a Disney movie, and it's not. It's the real deal. This is how it's supposed to be, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I think that's another part of it. With the drama thing as well, that like some women just aren't used to having a good man in their life.
And it makes a lot of sense. I think I was one of those women before.
I feel you. I
Yeah,
feel you.
I guarantee you, we learn through our, like, basically we learn through going through processes in life, and those dramas that we put towards it's, I think we're like looking for some kind of a connection or some kind of a something that will make us feel better about ourselves, but yet we can't
Right.
find that connection, so we start the drama just so we can get
Right.
that connection, and when we don't get it, that's
Right.
when we blow up. Like, we're
Right.
not
Right.
getting what we want, so why are we not getting what we want? Yet we can't. Why are we just not telling, why are we just not saying to our man that this is the problem that I'm having? I'm having an issue and I just need a little bit time to work on it.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
now I just
Right.
tell my
Right.
husband, right, listen, I'm not in a good mood right now. There's something bothering me. So just give me some time before I
Right.
start that drama and you have no idea
Right.
what's really going on with me.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And then another thing I was thinking about too also is that fight. Now I don't know all the names of the brain and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
forgive me. But when you get into a fight
Mhm.
and like, normally after a good fight, you have a good love making session. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so a lot of times what happens is that, fights or drama can be created because ultimately our brain subconsciously knows that like after this craziness, we get to release those feel good endorphins from sex. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times that also, now that type of drama, that's I can vibe with that, but it's when you get when it's when that's a normal thing. Like, oh man, we about to fight. Just if you want sex, just say you want to get it in. You don't have to start a fight over nothing. I'm in. There's a saying that women have to be in the mood, but men just have to be in the room. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
look, you don't have to cause a fight. If I'm in the room and you start taking off the clothes, hey, baby, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think a lot of times though, like, because our brain releases those feel good endorphins after, you know, um, the argument, because the argument leads to the kissing and the kissing leads to the baby making. And so like a lot of times that's what happens, which can be cool until, that's all you're doing 24/7, then it's not cool. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's
So
not.
yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
came to my other question is, do you think that fighting in a relationship is healthy, or do you think it should be
Mm.
avoided? So I guess for you, it's a healthy thing, right?
Right. Yeah. So like there's rules to fighting. There's rules of fighting.
Right.
Especially in the right household. You don't, if we're fighting over for example, let me give you a real life scenario. I'm crazy busy with work. And if I'm not working, then I'm working on a podcast. If I'm not working on a podcast, I'm writing a book. Or I'm also a life coach. I'm a master life coach, and cognitive behavior therapy is my focus. And so if I'm not doing any of that stuff, I'm not meeting with a client, then I'm watching TV, Netflix, The Flash, Green Arrow, Superman, all that. So Amanda, she's like, listen, I need you to help more around the house. And so we get into this big argument and it blows up. But the thing was that she said she wanted me to help more around the house, but that's not how the argument really came about. It came about me having she said the TV's too loud, and then you just explode. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's the deeper thing here? And so it came down to like, oh, she wanted more help around the house. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start helping more around the house. And to this day, I'm helping more around the house. I'm like, golly, the laundry never ends around here. I see why you needed some help. Like it's a never ending thing. So but there's rules to fighting. There's rules to fighting. So like if when you can't avoid a fight. If you avoid a fight, you know, it's going to come out one way or the other. You know what I mean? So my deal is never fight, never hit below the belt. Never hit below the belt. Because a lot of times what happens is I can share an intimate moment with you, or I can share something I went through that's, you know, that probably almost destroyed my whole life. And then, you know, now you're mad at me and you're like, that's why your mama don't love you, you know. And so like that's fighting, that's below the belt. You know, if you're gonna fight, talk about the situation at hand, and then never end it without some type of solution. And sometimes you may not get a solution that day, you know, but there has to be some type of agreement where you're saying like, you know, for example, I've said on plenty of occasions, listen, I don't know what I have to do, but I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out and we'll go from there. And then I'll let you know when I figure that out. Or sometimes she may have a solution. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll try that. But I think fighting is definitely healthy if you're fighting fair. But there always should be a solution to that fight. Because you know, if, for example, let's go back. If Amanda said like I need help around the house, and that's why I'm so angry and whatever, because I'm so overwhelmed with all the stuff I have to do at work, and then come home to this or whatever. And our house is like, I don't want to make it seem to be like we live dirty or nothing like that. We like half the time, like she's like cleaning up. I'm like, what are you cleaning? It's already clean. Like she's like,
Yeah.
you need the dust. I'm like, oh, we're dusting now. Okay. So, but if I never, if I said after that whole ordeal, if I said, all right, cool, I'll start helping out, then I never helped out. And it was the same old. That's when, you know, the fight was in vain. So you can have a good fight if it leads you somewhere, if it leads to a solution, if it leads to something getting better, which
Yeah.
every fight should lead to something getting better. It shouldn't just be out there and then nothing ever happens. Something has to happen, something has to change. And I think like it goes back to the 50-50 thing. Like um it's not all on the women, on a woman to clean a house. You know, hey man, hey, this is my house too. I live here too. So hey, I need to help out more as well. So fighting is I love the results from fighting when we get down to the solution.
I love it. That's amazing. That's really good to know because yes, fighting is healthy and in the right ways. I guess you're right. It is a
Right.
healthy situation in the right ways. It depends on what kind of fighting we're really talking about because could be abusive fighting too. And that is
Yeah.
something you really need to look into if that is the case. But this regular fighting just for a regular thing that happens, like you said, you know, helping around the house. Yes,
Right,
that's
right.
understandable.
Yeah.
As long as two people can come to an agreement at the end of the call and maybe lead to sex, like you said later on.
Right. Yeah. Hey, rock the boat, Tom. Yeah. So yeah. But no, like for real though, like on another serious note though, for real, like if it's if y'all hitting and slapping and fighting, y'all gotta cut that out and get some help and possibly I would say
Yeah,
break up. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately
absolutely.
going back to, you know, I said about my sister, that was the thing for her and her husband. They were always fighting like that. And I'm not talking about like fighting over laundry. I'm talking about fist fighting and stuff like that. And it was abusive relationship. So like if that's what you're going through, get some help, get away from that situation. I know it's not easy, but um, reach out to someone close to you. If you need to reach out to one of us, do that. We can probably point you in the right direction. But abusive fighting, really, at the end of the day, it's only going to it can end really bad. I'm gonna say that. I've seen it end really
Absolutely.
bad. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Okay, so next question. What is your favorite thing for a woman to wear?
Oh man. Oh man, the birthday suit. The birthday. No, all jokes aside, you know, so I love when Amanda wears my shirts to bed. You know, my white t-shirts. Nothing but the little, the little sexy lingerie on underneath. Not even the lingerie, just the little sexy, cute little panties, I think that is the most oddest thing. But now if we're going out, you know, the tight jeans, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
jeans. Yeah.
The nice shirt. And then depending on where we're going, like if we're just kind of going to get a burger or something, then that's the fit, the jeans and the little nice shirt. But if we're going out fancy, whatever, a little red dress, little black dress, little short one. Now I'm talking about like you can get kicked out of high school, like you can't wear this to school type dress with some nice little cute heels on. I think that's the hottest thing in the world. When Amanda puts on them heels, I'm like, golly, we may not even make it to the car, baby. So, yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. That's amazing. That's really cute. I like listening to that when a man talks about how they would love to see a woman dress, and that
yeah,
really does make a woman feel sexy. And I think it's a great attribute to keep together, is when you're able to see that this is what your man likes. How do we impress him? That's really cool. I
right.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, most definitely. And gentlemen, watch your lady get dressed. I'm telling you, if you've never done that, just watch her put it on, because like it's the hottest thing in the world. I'm like, yo, that's what you wearing? That's how you doing that? Okay, do
All
what you do, baby.
right.
Yeah,
Love
man.
it. All right, here's another fun question. What would you prefer, to cook a romantic dinner, or would you rather do the romantic dishes instead?
Mm, the dishes, because I'm gonna tell you, it ain't gonna be nothing romantic about my cooking. The definitely I'd hit the dishes though in a heartbeat. And I think it's one of those things though. Um, like if I kind of got the meal together, like as far as getting something out and then bringing it in, lighting the candles, and then kind of doing it like that, then putting it on the dishes,
Yeah.
make it look like I actually cooked. But actually, like she'll know. I mean, Amanda's gonna know I ain't, because I suck. Only thing I can cook is noodles. So but I'd rather do the dishes. And I think really um doing the dishes, but having her in the kitchen with me so we can talk. I think that's the coolest thing. Or just doing the dishes, she's in the same room with me. We got the music playing, just vibing together. So that's where I am. And I don't even like dishes like that, but that's what I would prefer.
I love that. I love that vibe that you just put together, doing the dishes, she's there helping you out. You had a romantic, beautiful dinner, having the music and cleaning up together and just
Mhm.
having that conversation. Just wow. I can see that happening, and I'm loving the vibe. So that's
Yeah.
great. I love it. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yum, yum. I'm gonna have to do that at some point. All
Yeah.
right, last question. This question I ask on all my podcasts on season 2
Mm.
is, how important is sex in a relationship for you?
Mm.
Is it ever
It's
enough?
Hey, it's so important. It's so important. Like, straight up, like I don't even know where to begin, because sex to me is so important, because a lot of Amanda is one of those women. She's 50 times smarter than me, and she's a very independent woman. Very,
Mhm.
very independent. She's like, like you said, you'd go out there and change the tire yourself. That's Amanda. Like, yo, hey, if you don't call somebody, I'm gonna go do that right now. So if I don't make that move or handle that first, she's going to do it, and she's gonna figure it out. And there are a lot of like, for example, I told her I was gonna change the kitchen lights or whatever. The light bulb went out, and I came home and it was done. I was gonna do that, babe. But so I say all that to say she's a very independent woman. So the the best way a lot of times that I feel like we can connect is when we're in the bedroom. So sex to me is so important, because it's me kind of giving back to her and making sure that I'm taking care of her needs on that level, because she's been taking care of the household, she's been taking care of work all week long. And so um this is my time
Oh
to, hey,
my God,
lay back, baby,
that
and,
is
and let
so
me take care of you.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. I never looked at it that way. I always thought, okay, this is it. Like that's all they want. It's just sex, sex, sex. And then sometimes women are tired, sometimes women just want to be left alone. But
All right.
that portion of what you just said,
Mhm.
that we want, they're independent. We want to give them what we can give them, and we can, be able to allow them to feel secured and happy.
Right.
And you're able to do what you can do because she's
Right.
done so much in the house. And I'm just like, oh my God,
Right. Yeah.
that's a beautiful way to look at
Yeah.
it.
I mean, and it is, and for me, I think like, and there's that connection when
Yeah.
it's with the, especially because like I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a before I was married, of course. I wasn't good at the one night stands. Like I had to be connected to you so that the love making could be fire. Because if it's just like if you just somebody I met, like linked up, I mean, I'm gonna do my thing and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But afterwards, like after if I know you and we have this connection, like me and Amanda, like after it's over, after the kissing and the touching and all that, is over, then there's this cuddling. You know what I'm saying? And I've never
Yeah.
been one to be, I'm like, yo, babe, let me just hold you now. Cause that what you just did right there, what we just did was fire,
Epic.
so
Yeah.
it was epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Ecstasy, right? Oh, love
right,
it.
yeah, it's like worlds colliding. And I don't know if I don't know if I'll ever like get over that. So yeah.
I love that. Oh, that answer was beautiful. And kid you not, like every answer that I've gotten so far has been amazing answers. So,
All right.
and every time I'm surprised with the answer that I'm getting. It's just wow. There's never that one fit all answer.
Right.
Everyone has
Right.
a
Right.
different answer, but every single answer that I've been getting on this question has been remarkable. It has been a beautiful answer. And I think
Yeah.
it's really gotten to think that it's not just all about sex. There's so much more emotion that
So
goes
much more.
into it. There's so much
Yeah.
more energy that goes into it, and it's just being with that person, because a man can give that sensation to a woman where that is something big for him, right?
Right.
Something
Right. Right.
beautiful for him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
love it, love it. Well,
Yes.
Aray, thank you so much for giving me
Oh,
all this information and being on my podcast and talking about this relationship situation. First of all, there's one thing I want to tell you is your answers were incredible. They're amazing. I could
oh
sit
wow,
here
thank you.
forever and talk to you forever. That's something I can definitely do. But I do know, because of everything that you've gone through and all the podcasts that you put together and the books and this podcast, there'll probably be a lot of people that want, like, hey, I want to know more about how he got
Mm.
himself into the podcast, or how many books has he written, and how do you start? Because you do a lot of that stuff with Haley as well when it
Right.
comes.
Right.
So shout out to Haley, of
Yeah. Shout
course,
out to her.
about the book publishing and everything like that. So I want people to be able to get a hold of you and say, I want to get more information on all of this. So how would they get a hold of you?
Definitely Facebook, Instagram. I think I'm on Instagram as Aray the Kid. You can hit me on Facebook, Aray Wright. And then if you do Snapchat, I'm on there too. Like, oh, by the way, like if you don't have a Snapchat, post your episodes on Snapchat. Like people love that. I don't know what it is about Snapchat, but my plays always go up. But anyway, so I'm on Snapchat. Also is Aray the Kid over there as well. Twitter, A-Ray the Kid. Just hit me up. Facebook and Instagram mainly. So hit me up. I'm down to talk to whoever about whatever. If I can help you grow and get your podcast or whatever off the ground, let me know. I would love to help anyone who needs that help.
That's amazing. Thank you. I will put all this information below on the description, so that in case you guys do want to get a hold of Aray, he's right there. He's an amazing person to talk to. He's always cheering you on. I love that. He always says that I'm such a good inspiration for him for podcasting, but really on top of that, he's really good. He inspires me for who
Oh, nice.
he is. So I'm really intrigued on that. So thank you so much. Other than
Yeah, no
that,
problem.
everyone, if you're here listening on YouTube, please make sure you do subscribe. It's really, really important for me and everyone else that I interview on here. And if you're on my podcast, just make sure you're also subscribed and, leave us a note. Let us know how it went. And other than that, have a wonderful day. See you guys next week. Bye.